How's it going, guys? This is Jack here with the Commander's Wire, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over my mock draft 9.0. We are obviously just about 2 weeks away from the 2026 NFL draft. I'm super excited. I already have it on my calendar. We are going to be live streaming the entire 2026 NFL draft Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, so stay tuned for that. But today we're going to be going over my mock draft 9.0. We're going to be doing something a little bit differently. Obviously, in the past, I've gone over every single draft pick one by one. We've gotten into each scenario and each player profile, and some of you guys have had some complaints on how realistic the mock draft is and whether or not you like the mock draft, and that's perfectly fine. You guys can have your opinion. That's to each their own on what your thoughts are on each mock draft, but we're going to do something a little different. I used to make all my mock drafts in advance, whether it be 5 minutes before I record or maybe even a day or two record, but we're going to make it right here. Not exactly live, but I'll be making the mock draft right here. You guys will be watching me in the mock draft simulator, and we'll get everything done, going through a ton of different scenarios. But before we get into today's video, I really would appreciate it if you guys would go down below, drop a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications to know when I post next, and you guys will be notified whenever I post more Commanders content just like this. So without further ado, let's get right into today's video. We had a recent X post from John Keim, who replied to another X post by Tom Pelissero, and Tom Pelissero mentioned that the former Indiana wide receiver Omar Cooper Jr. is visiting with the Washington Commanders today. And Cooper has had 5 visits so far, and he also has 4 more scheduled after Washington. And John Keim added to that, saying Washington clearly seeking a wide receiver option, and that's no secret, but 7 is too high for him and 71 is too low, and you'd probably need to look at maybe a late first round pick or an early second round pick in order to land a guy like Omar Cooper Jr. There's also been some talk around Texas cornerback Malik Muhammad, saying that when he was meeting with the Washington Commanders, they were also very, very interested. He's a 6'1" tall, athletic corner who ran a 4.4 second 40-yard dash, and he's definitely someone that the Commanders could look at on early day 3 as adding another true outside cornerback to the defensive back room, and someone that could compete for the number 2 cornerback spot, competing with Mikey Sanderstrom. And that's definitely something I would also be looking at in this mock draft. We'll just have to see. I also saw something on X, according to @JordanReed. It says that the Commanders are expected to address the wide receiver and cornerback positions with their top 100 picks. And then Reed also says that Washington would not mind trading back a few spots in order to grab additional draft picks. And that is also something I would not be too upset about if the Commanders decided to move back a couple picks. Obviously, you have some guys on the board that could fall to pick 7, being Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, or Jeremiah Love. And I think all 3 of those guys are worthy of the top 7 overall pick and can truly be a blue chip player for the Washington Commanders. However, I think there are a couple more needs the Commanders need to look at, and unfortunately we may not have enough draft picks in order to make that happen. So obviously I don't think picking a receiver at pick 7 is going to be the best possible scenario. I think if you're picking in the top 10, you got to get a blue chip player, but there is an opportunity for the Commanders to trade back. Obviously, some people will not be on board with that. They want to get as good of a player as possible, but you have an opportunity to get maybe even 2 first-round graded players, maybe in the first round as well as the second round. You'll just have to see what type of deals are able to be drawn up once the draft actually happens. And we'll be looking at here a lot of the different scenarios. I'm going to try my best to choose new players that I have not focused on the channel in my mock drafts before, but we'll just have to see how the board lies. And with that being said, probably the rest of my mock drafts, I will probably follow that same rules set. I will do my best to not choose players I have chosen before, but we're getting too close to the draft in order to kind of go into new players. A lot of people already know about a majority of the players in this draft class, so I think we're going to try to make it as realistic as possible, even if I am choosing players that I have chosen before. So with all that being said, let's hop into the mock draft simulator and see what we can cook up for this mock draft 9.0. So I am using the Pro Football Sports Network mock draft simulator. You're able to obviously choose the amount of rounds, choose your team, and choose the draft speed. But most importantly, I can also choose the players listed. And I like to use the consensus big board. And the reason for that is because it is a mix of all the big boards together. It almost averages them out in order to create the most accurate list possible. Obviously, we won't know anything until the actual draft occurs, but it takes into account the Pro Football Sports Network big board, ESPN's Pro Football Focus, The Athletic, as well as user ADP, and it kind of consensus them into one draft big board, and that's why I like to use that one. So obviously we're choosing the Commanders, we're going on fast, and it's going to be a full 7-round mock draft, and let's get right into it here. So before we get into any trades, the board fell as follows. Fernando Mendoza at 1. We had Sonny Styles at 2. Francis Maunoa at 3. Arvell Reese at 4. Carnell Tate at 5. And Monroe Freeling at 6. So we were sitting here at pick 7, and thankfully we have a lot of guys on the board. So in this situation, if I was the general manager, because we have so many players on our big board still here, I would not mind trading back a couple picks in order to still land a possible day one starter. We have a lot of guys here: Jeremiah Love, David Bailey, Caleb Downs, Ruben Bain. I'm a little iffy on Ruben Bain at this point. I don't know if he's exactly what I would want to add to this Commanders defense. I didn't even think about this. I definitely read this off. Sonny Styles going 2, but I did not really think about that. That is actually insane. I would never think that to happen. Obviously, Sonny Styles is an athletic freak and definitely a game changer on the defense. I just do not think that is the pick there at pick 2 for the Jets. That is, I've never seen that before. But unfortunately, he's off the board, so that leaves Jeremiah Love, David Bailey, Caleb Downs, Ruben Bain, Mansour Delane, Makai Lemon, and then I'll throw in Jermon McCoy in there as well because of his pro day. He did show out pretty well, and his tape from 2024 is one of the best in this class in terms of a cornerback. So let's also look at our trade offers. Eagles pick 23, pick 54, 68, and next year's 3rd. In my opinion, I think that's a pretty good haul in terms of draft picks. However, I am never going to be trading back with the Philadelphia Eagles ever again. We all saw what happened with Mikey Sandstrom in the 2nd round of 2024. Obviously, I love Mikey Sandstrom, but that draft pick could have been Cooper DeJean, and we all know how good Cooper DeJean is in the NFL. So I don't think. Also, I'm not really just trying to get a top 10 draft pick to an in-division rival. We also have pick 7 and 223 for pick 18, 49, and next year's 2nd from the Vikings. That's definitely tempting. Pick 18 is just a little too far back for my liking. You definitely could get a solid receiver at that point. You also could get a solid defensive back there as well. But I don't know if I really want to trade back that far. Also, we have pick 17, pick 50, and next year's 2nd to the Lions. And that is a decent package as well. I just don't know if I want to be trading that far back in the 1st round. That is the last trade offered. I'm going to see if I can cook up something here. I'm looking in the 9 to 11 range personally. I also could look at maybe trading back with the LA Rams at 13. And then maybe, I don't know if the simulator will let me do this, but I could also get an extra in-division tax for trading the 7th overall pick to the Dallas Cowboys for maybe both their 1st round picks and maybe another pick on top of that. That is definitely something that I would look at. However, that's not exactly something I would look at doing immediately. So let's see if I can propose a trade here. Let's start out with the Chiefs at 9. I think the Saints are also a decent team to trade back with. Unfortunately, though, I just don't think we would get too much more from the Saints. I don't think they'll give us a 3rd round pick. We can always try. I think ideally, if we go with the Saints and I give them 7 for 8 and 73, it says likely to accept. I just don't know if that is something that they are willing to do. Maybe I could throw in my 223rd pick. That may help out a little bit more. I also could add players. That is definitely something we could do. I just don't know if I really want to throw in any players, and it does not seem like there are that many players I can choose. So let's stick with this. I don't think they're going to take this trade, but we'll just see what happens. So we were giving up 426 points for 471. I just don't think that is something they'll do. Obviously, they rejected it. Let's see. Maybe let's throw in our 7th round pick and see what they say. I don't think they will take this, but yeah, okay, we'll just have to see. Let's go back to the Chiefs at 9 then. I think they would be more likely to trade with us. But unfortunately, it may be the same situation where it's just not enough for them to take that type of trade. Obviously, that was rejected as well. We could look at trading our 7th round pick to the Chiefs in order to get that 1st round draft pick as well as that 3rd round pick. A little bit more even on both sides, however it's still not amazing, and it was obviously rejected as well. The one thing I'm getting from these mock draft simulators is normally if a team isn't the one making the offer, they almost never take an offer, which is unfortunate. Let's see what the Bengals are willing to do. The 7th overall pick for number 10. Let's try to see if we can get 72. That is as close as we have gotten, and it has been rejected as well. Let's do that again. 7, 223 for 10 and 72. That has also been rejected. That is unfortunate. Let's just see what the Dolphins are willing to do for 11 and 75. Wow, okay, and that is ideal in my opinion. We were able to get pick 11 as well as another 3rd round draft pick, and this is something you guys are going to rip me up in the comments for. So the board fell as follows. David Bailey to the Dolphins at 7. Mansour Lane went to the Saints at 8. Jermon McCoy to the Chiefs at 9. And I think the Chiefs are almost probably a lock to get a cornerback in my opinion. I'm not going to lie. People have also been saying Ruben Bain may go to the Chiefs at 9. But I think that the Chiefs are probably going to choose one of the top 2 corners if they're not already off the board. And I just think that they need to. That is definitely a position they need to fill. Obviously, their top 2 corners left via trade and free agency, so they definitely need to fill that spot with a top draft pick, and they have 2 in the 1st round. And then Caleb Downs went to the Bengals at 10, which I'm not surprised. But Jeremiah Love fell to us at 11. I don't know if I want to make that pick for Jeremiah Love at 11 just because that is what I did in the last mock draft. However, I think based on how the board fell, that is ideal with what we got in return in the trade, as well as how the board fell. A lot of people think that Arvell Reese probably would not go at 4. He'd probably go at 2, and then the Titans will get Jeremiah Love at 4, and then maybe another team, if they want to trade up to maybe 6 overall to pick up Jeremiah Love, I could see that happening as well, because I think the Browns are not afraid to move back in the 1st round to get as many draft picks as possible. But that is something that I could see happening. But I know you guys are going to hate me for this, and you guys want me to choose Jeremiah Love here at the spot, but I'm going to look at the trade offers just to see what happens. Pick 11 and 75 for 16 and 44. That is definitely tempting. I just don't know who I would choose there at 16, 22, 55, and 86. That's also tempting. I just don't know if that's something I want to do, trading that far back. Let's see. I think if we were to trade back here, whatever team is coming up, I'd imagine they would either choose one of Jeremiah Love, Ruben Bain, or Makai Lemon. I don't see any other player falling. Obviously, Omar Cooper Jr. is down there at 21. So there's a possibility I could trade back with the Jets here again. In trading back with the Jets, I would give up one of my 3rd round picks. I still have my original 3rd round pick, but I'm also getting one of their 2nd round picks, so that is definitely a sweet spot. And then maybe even Omar Cooper Jr. could fall to me at 16 there as well. Obviously, we're giving up Jeremiah Love, giving up Makai Lemon, but in my opinion, I think Omar Cooper Jr. is obviously not as good as Makai Lemon as when it comes to his skill level, but I think Omar Cooper Jr. would just be a perfect complement to Terry McLaurin. And after a couple years, he could definitely be a team's number 1 wide receiver. And then obviously we will continue to add players around them in order to fill out that wide receiver room, just so there's as much talent as possible. You still obviously have De'Ami Brown outside the numbers at the Z. And then you also have Luke McCaffrey, who I think will be this team's power slot, as they're probably going to be modeling this offense after the Ben Johnson offense in Chicago, as well as the offense when he was with the Lions in Detroit. So let's look at these trade offers. I think the Jets trade offer is something that I would not be too upset about taking. I also want to see if I could potentially trade back with the Rams. The reason I want to do this is because I think I would also be able to get a second round draft pick from them while giving up a third rounder. So let's see if I can give up 11 and let's just say 71. I could. Ooh, I don't know if they have a third round pick. Sorry, I don't know if they have a second round pick is what I'm saying. They do. It's just at the end of the second round. That makes sense because their first round draft pick is their first round draft pick was from the Falcons. So obviously the Falcons second rounder, yeah, will be up there at 48. So that was the pick I'd want to get. However, I don't think that is going to happen because we're not picking too far. Yeah, it's only like a couple of draft picks before 71. I don't know if I'd want to do that. It's only trading back 2 spots, but I just don't know what the Cowboys are going to do. That's the thing. And then obviously, I think the LA Rams probably would be taking Mekhi Lemon at that position. It'd be my guess, just because they are just not afraid to just throw picks at everything. This is definitely. Would the Rams take that trade? Obviously not. What if I threw in my 7th round? Nope. A 6th? Nope. Another 6th. I don't know if I want to do this. This is definitely hard. Would I be able to get an absolute haul from the Cowboys? Is Jerry Jones that stupid? Give me 12, 20. I'll give you 71. Yeah, I don't think this is going to happen. Yeah, that's definitely not going to happen. Unfortunate. That makes sense. Maybe if this was still pick 7, that may still work out. I just don't know if... Yeah, I don't think we're going to be trading back with the Cowboys, unfortunately. Man, do I do it? Okay, let me propose a trade to the Rams. I think ideally we give them 7 for 13 and 61. I'll throw in 187 as well. No. Did I throw in the 5th round pick? That's a big jump from 75 to 187, though. But then we do have a 2nd and 2/3. Man. Okay, this may be a little weird. Oh, they don't have a 5th round pick. They have a couple 7ths, though. This is very strange. Okay, if I give up 11 and 147 for 13, obviously they're not going to take this. Yeah, okay. I don't know why I'm trying to overthink this too much. I think let's just do this. You guys are going to hate me for this, skipping on Jeremiah Love, but I like this trade. I'm going to give up 11 and 75 for 16 and 44. We're going to go ahead and accept that, and we'll see how the board fell. So, the Jets traded up for Reuben Bain. Okay, that makes sense. They did not get an edge rusher here at pick 2, so they got one at pick 11. Caden Proctor to the Dallas Cowboys. I have never seen that. I called it. Mekhi Lemon to the Rams. That makes sense. Akeem Mesidor to the Bucks. That also makes sense. And I also expected the Ravens to be going after someone in the trenches, whether it be offense or defense. But Caden Proctor to the Cowboys, that does not make sense at all. Picking them at pick 12 first. They definitely could have gotten Caden Proctor at 20. First of all, but getting another offensive tackle when they already have plenty of offensive linemen just makes no sense. But we're here at pick 16. We still have plenty of guys on the board. Somehow Jeremiah Love is still here. You guys are going to hate me in the comments. I can already see it. Dylan Thieneman is another crazy athletic and smart free safety. Kenyon Sadiq, we don't need a tight end. Jordan Tyson's there. Omar Cooper is also still there. Let's see what other trade offers we have. Still Eagles, the same. That's the same haul they gave us for 7, except trading out their next year's 2nd for our third round pick this year. Let's see, 16, 147 for 17 in the 2nd. Not awful. I just don't know if I really want to do that. Making one trade is already insane, but making 2 is definitely something not crazy. You guys are going to hate me because I don't want to take Jeremiah Love here because I already took him in literally the last mock draft. So, man, this is insane. Do I do it? I don't think I'm going to do it with the Eagles. I don't want to trade. I don't want to trade that much of next year's draft capital just because, like, obviously that is realistic. However, for the sake of the mock draft, people want to see picks. And I don't want to give up too much of this year in order for next year because we don't see what those picks turn into yet. Man, okay, what's the ideal situation? Let's see, maybe the Panthers at 19, the Steelers at 21. Let's see, Obviously, Simpson's still on the board. Most likely going to be a second-round draft pick. I don't expect any team to trade up to in the teens to get like a quarterback like Ty Simpson. Eagles really want to trade up. I don't know if I really want to trade down that far though. 22 is very, very interesting for me because I think the Chargers are a team that would like to trade up, maybe to get like Spencer Fano, who's begin to fall a little bit. I could see that happening. And as well as Caden Proctor came off the board, so they definitely need someone there. And then was there also a defensive tackle still on the board? Yeah, Caden McDonald's there, but I believe he will be there at pick 22. Man, this is as real as it gets. This is not one of my short form mock drafts. We're already 25 minutes into recording. This is definitely insane. But man, there's a lot of good guys here. Jeremiah Love, obviously at the top of the board. And then Dylan Thieneman, Omar Cooper. And then you also have Emmanuel McNeil Warren. I guess those 4 guys would be kind of who I'm thinking here. But in that situation, if you have 4 guys that you don't know who to choose, I think you go to wanting to trade back. And in this situation, let's see what the okay. Obviously, what am I doing? Okay. The Detroit Lions want to trade up. I don't want to give up that much draft capital in order to get next year's draft capital. So would they give me 118? I don't think they will. They may. I don't think they will, though. 118, that's in the 4th round to trade back 1 spot. We're going to get an absolute haul in this draft. But, I mean, that's kind of how it works out. We have a couple guys on the board. You can definitely trade back and still get one of them. Because, like, the idea of the draft is you're not supposed to build out your team in the draft. You're supposed to build out your team, ideally build out your team through free agency, get it to a spot where you wouldn't be absolutely like happy to go into the season with this team, but you'd be like, okay, if I need to roll out the squad day 1 right now, I would not be too upset, right? And then obviously you have your teams. If you have the first overall draft pick, you could do anything with that draft pick, right? So those teams, they don't have to worry about that so much. Let's say the Raiders, they didn't need to sign a quarterback because they definitely could get a quarterback in the draft, right? Because there's no teams ahead of them. They can get literally whoever they want. And so in that case, you don't need to do as much preparing. Obviously, they sign a lot of free agents, but that's another conversation. But in our case, you need to fill out your roster as good as you can through a free agency, and then anyone you get in the draft is just an added bonus. So in our situation, you really just want to find the best players imaginable. So I think let's go ahead and do this. 16 for 17 and 118. They accepted. Wow. And they get Caden McDonald. That is a reach. So that probably means the Chargers are going to get an offensive lineman. I have another trade offer. Pick 27 and 58. And then 19 and 83. Oh my gosh, these are definitely super strange. Omar Cooper's still there. Jeremiah Love's still there. What's my picks right now? 17, 44, 71, 118, 147, 187, 209, 223. This is my realest mock draft I've ever done, in my opinion. More I think about it, Carnell Tate's a little rich to take in the top 7. I think he'd be a good player. I just don't know if he's that type of player to be taking that high. So I'm glad I didn't if he fell to me, I'm glad I didn't take him. Mekhi Lemon is also someone that I just don't know if that was exactly who I wanted to have. I think he'll be a good player. I just don't know if he's just strange as a character, you know? Like the way that he was acting in interviews and the the team meetings is just super weird to me. Then obviously his pro day and draft combine just results weren't amazing. So I just don't know if that is what the Commanders would be looking at. Obviously, Adam Peters looks at high RAS scores, so that is something that needs to be taken into account because you need athletes. If they're not going to be a day one starter for you, you need someone that is athletic and can basically be plugged in anywhere and then use their athleticism in order to be the best football player they can be no matter where you put them. So trading back with the Panthers is not too bad. I definitely do not want to trade this far back. At least at this point we're at. Going 10 picks back, we have a couple guys that could come off the board. And then I wouldn't say we'd be screwed, but that is definitely not something I'd want to be with. Would they give me 51? If I If I gave a 6th round pick, no, that's definitely not. That is not that. This is not that awful. 83 is another 3rd round draft pick. We can still get someone good at 19. We have a couple guys we can get at 19, and I'd be happy. That's the thing. I like that. Okay, I like that pick. I like that trade. We're going to take the Panthers trade. We're trading 17 for 19 and 83. Okay. Panthers chose Jeremiah Love, and the Vikings got Spencer Fano. That's a weird draft pick for the Panthers, but I guess if you fell that far, that makes sense. But we still have guys on the board. Dylan Thieneman, Omar Cooper, and Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. And then I guess we're getting back here. Casey Concepcion is definitely another guy I'd like to add. Denzel Boston's also pretty decent. And Colton Hood, I would not be too mad at that as well. What are our trade offers? 42, 73, and a haul for next year. So a 2nd rounder, a 3rd rounder, another 2nd, another 3rd, and next year's 6th. 33, 75. And next year's 2nd. Can't do that. 19, 118 for 30 and 43. That's just too far for me. I just don't know if I can do that. These are all way too far, unfortunately. But obviously, there's probably not going to be a lot of teams wanting to trade up anymore. Yeah, I think this is where we're going to have to take our pick, guys. Don't know if this is what's going to happen anymore. I don't think we have any other trades we can do. We still have Omar. The thing is, the Cowboys probably not getting a receiver. They're probably going to get maybe a safety. They're probably going to get Dylan Thieneman, if I'm being honest. If we don't choose him at 19, the Cowboys will take him at 20. They could also get Emmanuel McNeil-Warren if that is who they'd rather have. They already have a couple tight ends, or obviously someone could trade up to 20. Steelers, they probably need everything. Probably need to be trenches players, another defensive tackle maybe. They could get reach on Peter Woods. They probably could also use a receiver, so maybe they go after Jordan Tyson there. Hopefully they grab at Jordan Tyson, and then we can have Omar Cooper. Chargers, they probably need someone on the offensive line. They'd probably rather stay there because they think Caleb Lomu's going to fall, or maybe if he doesn't fall, they choose like Peter Woods. Eagles, oh man, what do they need? Probably another receiver as well. They're probably hoping Jordan Tyson or Omar Cooper falls to them. Browns, they need probably another offensive lineman. They're probably hoping Caleb Lomu falls to them. But I don't want to get too far behind the Eagles and the Steelers because they have a chance to steal both the receivers. Because the only reason I'd get Denzel Boston or like Colton Hood is if I go to like pick 30 with the Dolphins. But I just don't. I don't know if I want to give that up unless I get an absolute haul from one of these guys. Let's see. Let's see if I can deal something up with the Steelers. Probably not going to. For 21 and 53. Yeah. 76. No. Obviously, that's not going to work. Okay. What about the Chargers? I don't think this is going to work either. 19 for 22 and 55. What about 86? Ooh, 86. It's a 3rd rounder, though. They're probably not going to do that. What if I throw in like 118? Oh, I kind of want to send this through, but I also kind of don't want them to take that. I don't think they're going to take it. Yeah, okay. I'd rather them force me to play my hand. Alright, I talked about it in the intro. I think we have to do it. I think we're going to select Omar Cooper at pick 19. We're going to choose Omar Cooper at pick 19. Do we do it? That is definitely... We have a lot of safeties. Even though we don't have, like, a star safety, besides... I wouldn't consider Nick Cross to be a star yet, but I think he's a very valuable starter. We have Will Harris. We have Tyler Owens, who's still an athletic freak. He can definitely continue to develop. We still have Quan Martin, who Durante Jones believes he has a plan for. So I think we get Omar Cooper here. And the receiver room is definitely something we need to look at. And I think one of our next picks, we definitely need to address the secondary, whether it be a receiver. Sorry, not a receiver. A corner or a safety. So let's get Omar Cooper at 19. And our next pick is at 44. Before we get into trades, let's see how the rest of the... Yep, Dylan Thieneman at 20 makes sense. Offensive line, yep, at 21 to the Steelers makes sense. A receiver 22 to the Chargers, that does not make that much sense. I guess they may want to move... what are they doing? I guess Keenan Allen's gone, right? But they have Trey Harris, and they have Ladd McConkey and Quentin Johnston. So they, I guess, go what? Is that 3 first-round receivers? No, Ladd was a second-rounder, right? Or third-rounder? Man, so Kenny Sadiq to the Eagles, that kind of makes sense. Linebacker to the Browns, I don't know if that makes sense. Receiver to the Bears, I guess that's all right. Defensive tackle Peter Woods to the Bills. Offensive tackle to the 49ers there. Another a guard to the Texans. Wow. The Browns traded back into the first round. Who they trade with? 29. Who was at pick 29? Oh, that was the Chiefs. They traded back with the Chiefs to get Denzel Boston. Did they ever get a... They did. They got Monroe Freeling. Okay, that makes sense. That's why they didn't want to get another offensive lineman there. That makes sense. And then Chris Johnson, he's another guy I'm really high on. Getting him at the later part of the first round is a little rich for me. I think he's a decent second rounder, but to each their own. I think he's pretty solid, and he'll be a decent starter. T.J. Parker to the Seahawks, replacing what's his face, Boy Mafe, and then the Patriots getting a safety. I don't know if that is exactly what I would have done, in my opinion, for the Patriots, just because they already signed a couple safeties, and they have a pretty decent secondary already, but I guess beefing up that secondary is always going to help. Colton Hood, Ty Simpson, that makes sense. Jeremy Bernard, I guess it's fine that we... Chris Bell, that's a little rich, I think, because of his injury. I thought he was going to fall a little bit to the third round, but I guess he's the top of a second round type of receiver now. Chris Brazzell, I don't know if he's going to translate that well to the NFL. I think it's pretty common that Tennessee has a really mediocre offensive scheme that obviously players will excel in there, but then their transition to the NFL won't be that good. So, here we go, Gabe. All right. Okay, we're at pick 44, beginning of the second round. What do we still need? Avion Terrell. He is a cornerback, 5'11", 180 pounds, out of Georgia. He's had a little bit of injury concern over the last couple days, and that's allowed him to fall a little bit, and the RAS score is awful. Definitely not something the Commanders would be looking at. I don't know if the injury can play a part in that, but 5'11", 186 pounds is not exactly someone I want to look for at this part of the draft, especially in the earlier part of the second round. Obviously, we already have Amik Robertson and Mikey Sainristil who could compete for that slot role, and Avion Terrell may not be someone that I just want here at pick 44. Another guy here is Brendan Cisse. I think this would be another good draft pick. 6 foot, 190 pounds, 9.24 RAS score, as well as the number 7 cornerback on the Pro Football Sports Network cornerback list. Let's see his projections. Definitely rising up boards overall. Let's see what his testings look like. Obviously 9.24. 41 vertical jump. 10-11 broad jump. That's pretty solid. His height isn't amazing. His height and weight's not great. Hand size is not really the biggest concern in my opinion. Arm length, okay. But I just think overall, Brendan Cisse is definitely a solid option here in terms of a corner. I don't think D'Angelo Pons, same thing. He's just too small. We just don't need a nickel corner at this point. Malachi Lawrence, another player I really like. Definitely would be beefing up that defensive line. Lee Hunter, defensive tackle, pretty solid. Keontae Scott is also an absolute freak. He is a pretty solid cornerback. Unfortunately, though, he's definitely more of a nickel. I think in terms of all the nickel defenders, he may be one of the best. I just don't know if that's what the Commanders want to do. And I think getting down here is a little just too far out of that range to be worth it. Let's see what trades we have. 44 for 48, 118 for 48 and 79. And then that's a little too far back for me. 63 and 67. Yeah, I just don't know if that's just too far back for me. I don't know if I want to go that far. Let's see what other picks we have. 44. Yeah, we don't pick till 71, so I don't know if I want to trade back to the 60s. Unless there's someone here that I wouldn't mind. Traden Stukes is definitely someone that I would not mind, actually. But he is at... Where is Traden Stukes? I just lost him. 57. Do I think he makes it to 63? That I do not know. Jarian Price is also another solid guy here. Running back at Notre Dame. Pretty solid. Man. And then the corner out of Arizona State, Keith Abney's also pretty decent as well. 6.51 though, RAS score. Not exactly the best. What was Traden Stukes? 995. Wow, what did I just do? Okay, fixed it. Alright, okay. Traden Stukes is definitely someone I would not mind getting at all. But is it worth that trade back? Let's see who else is down there. Mike Washington Jr. is down there. Max Clare's down there. Zachariah Branch. Josiah Trotter is also pretty decent. Jake Golday is also down there. He's pretty decent. Antonio Williams would be down there. He's pretty decent. Ted Hurst is also pretty solid. Skylar Bell. Igbenogson, Elijah Surratt. We already got a receiver, so I don't know if we need to get a receiver right now. Derek Moore's also pretty solid. And Dennis Sutton. Man, this is... And Malik Muhammad. Oh, my gosh. Oh, man. This is a lot. Okay, so we have 44, 71, 83. Is it worth getting that trade, though? 48 and 79. Is it? Okay, I gotta think about it like this. So if I do this trade, right, I'm giving up my 4th rounder for... Giving up my 4th rounder and my 2nd rounder to trade back 4 spots or 4 or 5 spots and picking up a 3rd rounder. Man, this is hard. Because who would be there? Obviously, I think... That'd be perfect for... Who's AJ Halsey? 6 foot, 222. I don't think I've ever looked into that guy before, I'll be honest. Jarian Price would be there at 48. Is it worth it? Brendan Cisse has been mocked up there as a potential even round 1 projected corner. Man, athletically he's pretty good. He's just a little bit undersized. What about another? Let's look at the other corners. Trayden Stukes, athletically also really good. Also just a little undersized though. 4.33 40-yard dash though. That's pretty solid. But in terms of just his weight and hand size is just not that great. And then obviously I think we're gonna rule out Keith Abney here. Let's just look at the cornerbacks by themselves. So Avion Terrell is falling a little bit. Cisse's there. I think we're down to Cisse. Keontae Scott is a little intriguing. I just don't know if we want that type of defender. It didn't really do anything. His stats really speak for themselves, though. 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 2 picks, 64 total tackles. That's pretty solid. I don't know if he just fits a need. Okay, let's run this in our head. So if we give up... Let's go right here. We give up 44 and 118 for 48 and 79. We know all of the guys, probably 1 or 2 of our guys here. Cisse, Keontae Scott, they'll be here at 48. Maybe, no, sorry. Cisse probably will not be there at 48, if we're being honest. He's probably gone by then, unfortunately. But we also pick up 79 and give up 118. I don't know if I want to think back. A lot of corners there at 118. I just don't know if that's something I really want at that point. But if I go back into the 60s, there's also a lot of solid players there. We're getting 63 and 67 for 44 and 187. I just don't know if that's something that we can do. If I gave up 209 instead, no, they really want 187. Could I get something else out of them? Could I get 117 and I give them 147 or like 134? They're probably not going to take that. Oh, they took it. Oh, man. They took it. Wow. I was not expecting that. I don't know if I really wanted that. Wow, Brandon Cisse fell that far. That's annoying. Who'd they take? Kalen Ratledge. Trayden Stukes went at 45. That would have sucked. Oh, I don't know if I like that or not. Jarian Price, Malachi Lawrence, Kyle Lewis. Oh, man. Sorry, guys. That was not exactly what I wanted to do there. But they took it. They took the trade. So we get 63, 67, and what? 118? 118? We got another 134. Oh, man. Okay, well, I guess they took it. We have a lot of picks here then. We have a lot of picks. Keontae Scott is still here. Man, Trayden Stukes. I really wanted Trayden Stukes. That is annoying. That's unfortunate. Okay, we don't exactly need that right now. We could also get a corner here at 67. That's not that bad. You know what? Okay, let's do this. Let's not think this too much. Keontae Scott, maybe athletically he's not the best. We don't know that. I did it again. We don't know that he's not the best athletically, but in terms of his... he's a football player, you know? Like, he is just someone that will produce for you. So I think we just don't think it too much. 63, let's get Keontae Scott. Eli Stowers, Emmanuel probably not. Okay. A couple trades. I'm not really interested in trading anymore. Here at 67, so far we have Omar Cooper. Wow, we are 46 minutes in to me recording, and I made 2 draft picks. And this is why the draft takes 3 days, and it's like 20 hours long. Just because of this. Okay, I think at 67, we have to choose number 67, Mike Washington Jr. This would be my pick. I think we have to do it. We're going to choose Mike Washington Jr. here in the 3rd round. Not really interested in trading back anymore. At 71, so far we have a couple players. Still could get Malik Muhammad. Also have 83. I have to remember that. I also have pick 83. Dominique Orange, Big Citrus. He's also here. Do we consider him? Pretty decent size. Don't know if... Wow. He did not... Was he injured? I don't know if he was injured. Maybe he was injured. He just didn't play that much. Yeah, maybe he was injured after November. He's a nose tackle, that's for sure. Also need a center. That is also what we need to look at. So... Sam Hecht is definitely someone that I would be looking at here. I'm not in love with Keontae Scott being the only corner. I definitely think we need someone like a bigger guy. Malik Muhammad is also right there, so I wouldn't mind reaching on like a, because I also kind of want an edge rusher here. I like Danny Detnis Sutton as well as Derek Moore. I like both of them. Joshua Josephs is also falling. Bud Clark is also there. Jalen Kilgore's there. Malachi Fields is also there. We definitely need a center. I think Sam Hecht is probably the best one. Best center here. 7.76 RES. Not the best in terms of athleticism. But let's look at the other centers where they are. Connor Lew did not test a lot. I think he was injured for a long time. Jake Slaughter, 997. Oh, I did it again. 997. The 7th rated. Parker Brailsford's also been a solid center I've seen mocked a lot. He's a 2nd rated center though, but he's a little undersized. Jake Slaughter's definitely just athletically. I did it again. Oh my gosh. 5'1". They just don't have all this, but I think just athletically he's one of the better centers there. Where is he going? 101. Okay. So maybe we just unfortunately leave Sam Hecht. I could also trade back in this position. The only trade back scenario is 81. So who could we get there? We could have Danny. Danny could fall to us. Sam could fall to us. I'm not really too crazy about these top 3. I'm alright with Igbinosun. We already got a receiver. Derek Moore could still fall. Malik Muhammad could also still be there. Joshua Josephs could also still be there. And you have a couple safeties. A couple really solid safeties. So maybe we should, and Dazon Stribling will also be there. Jacoby Lane will be there. Maybe we do trade back here. Do I take that? 124. Will they give us 100? What if I give you next year's 6th instead? What about this year's 6th? Be a higher 6th? So they're okay with that. 5th rounder and next year's 7th? That's just not going to cut it. It really has to be 124. That just may be a little too late. I don't know if they're if someone's gonna fall. I think we need to get 100, and I wouldn't mind giving up. If I give up 134, and I took away that, and then got their 7th for this year. A late 7th for 181, 71, and 134. I wouldn't mind that. I say we do it because yeah, I don't mind that at all. There's a lot of guys that can still fall. Okay, that makes sense. I like that. Okay, so who there? Mike Wash. Oh, I went too far. Derek Moore. That was it, right? Yeah, it was it. Derek Moore got off the board. Igbinosun, Malachi, Sam Hecht, Zakee Wheatley. Okay, this isn't awful. We still have a lot of guys here that we'd like. Still have a lot of guys here. So at 81, I think we just choose our best guy. Because we still have, I think, where's our guy? Where's our center? Yeah, Jake Slaughter will probably be there at 101. Jaeger Burton also we could look at him as well. Whereas he's predicted to go 144. Oh man, we'd have to reach at 118 unless we trade back up, or we either trade down or trade up. There's a lot of trades in here. This is definitely a lot that's going on. But I think right now we should look at getting Jake Slaughter with pick 100. I think that's ideally what we do. So I think right now we just choose our best guy. And our best guy here would be probably Danny, and then we go Malik Muhammad next. It's just who do we need first? I'd rather, man, Danny would be great, but Malik Muhammad is definitely someone that like fits a bigger need. I think we go Danny and then just hope the Vikings don't take Malik Muhammad. I think that's it. Did the Vikings already take? Let's see what the Vikings took. They still have not taken a corner yet. Oh, that's tough. Do I do it? Because they also could, bite it at somebody else as well. And then Joshua Josephs is here as well. Okay, I think that's what we'll do. How big is Danny? 270. Okay, I think we get Malik Muhammad at 81, just so the Vikings can't take him, because I know they need secondary help. And then we just choose whichever edge rusher here at 83. I think that's what I want to do. So what I'm going to do is I'll take Malik. Wow, and they took Bryce Lance. Okay, that's ideal. So then we'll just choose Danny. Nope. Okay, trading back. Oh my gosh. Because this is the thing. This is the thing with drafting is it's not always about where your picks are. It's just where you can get the guys that you like are, These guys are going to move up the board. So do I go down to 87? Because it's the same thing. I could still get Danny, and I could still get Joshua. They've just gotten 2 tackles, or 2 linemen so far. I'm going to choose twice. I don't think. And then the Chargers. They already got a corner. Man, they took Cisse. And then the Dolphins. Who do the Dolphins take? They already got a corner. They got an edge. They got an offensive lineman. They probably would get they'd probably just get one of the receivers. Oh, man. Do I do it? Do I risk not having... Because I'm going to get an edge rusher regardless, whether it be Danny or Josh. And who do I get in return? 151, we give up our 7th for next year, which is fine. And 151 is another just kind of mid-range. It would go right in between 118 and 187. This is crazy. This is crazy. I think ideally Genesis Smith is also there at 89. That's another solid safety prospect. Where's our next pick? 100. We already know we got to take our center there. I think what we do here. Wait, what are the centers? Are there a couple centers still there? Okay, it's only one. Oh man. Okay, this may be crazy. This may actually be insane because I also don't mind Romello Height. Another. Jason Barham's also not awful. Not the best in the world. Yeah, 4 sacks. Not amazing, but definitely someone that would... Obviously, no matter what type of edge rush we're getting here, they're not going to be a day one starter absolutely going crazy, So what we could do here is if I'm at 83, I could trade back, maybe reach a little bit on my center because I know that he may go early. But then also at 100, just choose whichever edge rusher's still there. And ideally, maybe they both make it. Who do we get? We got Omar, Keontae, Mike, Malik. Okay. What other picks do they have? 150. Wow, come on. You got picks for days. You have picks for days. I'll make it this year's 7th. Why does this year's 7th... Oh, because next year's 7th has a potential to be a little higher. That makes sense. What about this year's 6th? I'll give it my second 6th for 130, and next year's 7th. Is that worth it? Because our 5th to 6th round range is just a little. We just have it's a little too concentrated right now. So if I can move up a little bit and get pick 130, I think I'll be a little better off. And then next year's 7th, really, I don't know if it matters that much. What if I give up my earlier 6th rounder? Obviously, that's not ideal. No, because at that point, I'm just not giving up. What if I do this? I'll trade that 7th rounder and 187. I'm trying to make this really realistic. I'm not trying to make this like Madden, where I just throw a bunch of 60 overalls and a bunch of 60 overall, bench players and a bunch of 7th round picks in order to get like a 3rd rounder out, just because it adds up, right? Try to make this realistic. This is just not realistic enough. I think we'll just go with This trade isn't awful. This trade just really is not awful. Moving back 4 spots. I think we just do it. Okay. What happened? What happened? What happened? So we were at 83. They took DeZon Stribling, which is okay. Steelers took Ted Hurst and then Bud Clark, and then they took Joshua Josephs, and then that's ideal. We still have a trade offer. 98. Nope. Never talking to you. Immediately hanging up if I hear Howie Roseman calling my phone. Immediately. Okay, I think we take Danny. 996. 8.5 sacks last year. I think we take Danny. And Joseph still went before us. Look at that. Look at this production. Look at the comparison. 245 at 6'3", 245. 33 tackles, 4 sacks. 3 forced fumbles, too. But then Danny, 6'5", 270. Had 42 tackles, 8.5 sacks, and the same amount of forced fumbles. I don't know. I think it's a no-brainer. We got to go Danny here, and then hope our center is still there at 100. Oh, I saw a center go off. Connor Lew. Okay, so defensive tackle Justin Jolie, my guy, went off the board in round 4 to the Buccaneers. Jalen Kilgore, Genesis Smith was not able to get him, but I'm okay with that. Romello Height still went right there. Wouldn't have gotten then. Okay, here we go. That's when we're taking our center. Where's our guy Jake? Wow, absolute haul. Absolute haul. Yeah, we can't do it. I'm not risking it to go back to 106. Not risking it at all. We're taking our center. And we're back up at 118. This is a crazy draft. This is the most like in-depth I've ever done a draft before. I'm hoping you guys are watching this till the end because this is super interesting to me. We're taking our center. At this point, we're no longer drafting. Oh wow, that was still in the 3rd round. I don't know why I'm being crazy over that. 3rd rounder. Okay. At this point, we're just drafting off of athleticism and potential. We're no longer drafting guys in order to start. Obviously, we already have enough guys on our board. I'm seeing a lot of linemen. I'm seeing a lot of corners as well. Maybe we take a guard. I've never. Markel Bell is like someone that's okay. I just don't know if he's someone that. Yeah, he's just not athletic at all. I've heard of him. Let's see who came off the board though. Elijah Surratt makes sense. Garrett came off. Jalen Farmer. That would have been a good pick there at 18. Oh, 118. Not really too upset about some of these guys going off. Okay, I do want to look at something though. Linebacker. Who's still on the board here? Aiden Fisher, so they're at 158. That could be perfect at 151. Okay, I'm going to leave him there then. At 118, there's still a lot of guys here. Okay, I want to look at the safety. VJ Payne is still there, and Michael Taft is still there. And Lewis Moore as well. He's still a little undersized, and he's not that athletic. Jalen Husky, also not a bad option. Cole's also there. He's definitely a lot farther down the board, though. Bishop Fitzgerald's also not awful. Still a little undersized. And as well as Isaiah from SMU. He's not bad. Obviously, the stats aren't amazing. 80 tackles, though. We could look at him later. Where's he looking to go? Wow. We could get him in round 7 if we wanted to. Do we want to reach on VJ Payne? He's one of my guys. He was not that awful last year. He is one of my guys, though. Michael Taft wasn't awful. Oh, man, this is hard. Very hard. Maybe I trade down a little bit. Maybe I can get something out of here. I know the Bills were looking to trade up. I don't know if they're guys off the board now, though. They're not calling. So I still want to get Aiden Fisher at 151. From my first mock draft, he was my guy. See what the Bills are looking to do. If I give up 118, can I get 126 and 220? 182? 168? Ooh, 165 is where they call it. What about if I give throwing a 7th? What about, no, I already gave up my 7th for next year. What if I take their 7th from next year? No, they're not looking to do that. I need to look at one more thing. Billy Schroth is there at 167 as well. He's also one of my dudes. Did it again. Oh my gosh. Struggle with injury, but I think as a prospect, especially as late as we're getting him, he could definitely be an option. So maybe I do that. Maybe I want to trade back with the Bills. 118 for 126 and one. Well, I don't even have to give too much to get 168. There's not a lot I have to give up. Let's do it. Oh, they rejected it. That's tough. Okay, let's see what the Bills want to do then. Let's get 165, and we'll throw in 245. Will you do that and give me your other 7th? What about 223 in your 7th? That's what I was training with, throwing around earlier. It's a late 6th, so we're giving up our 4th, a late 6th, to move back 8 spots, a 5th, and their 7th. It's really late 7th though. No, that's our 7th. That is a 7th for 7th. Okay, that's not awful. I'm happy with that. They rejected it again, man. Oh my gosh, 126, 168. Alright, fine. I'll just throw 245. Let's see what they do. Again, they rejected. Yeah, I don't know if we can do that anymore. The Jags are always looking around. That was our pick, 134. They're also up at 124 though. Is that a little too early? Let's see what the Jags can do. They do 118, 124, and 164. Nope. 166. No. Okay, what about 134 and 164? What about 141? 164. I'm not upset about this. I can still get Aiden Fisher at 151. I can get a safety. I can get Billy Schroth there at 164, and I just choose whoever I want here at 134. I don't mind that. Okay, let's go. They got it. All right, that's ideal. Okay, let's look at what happened. So we were at 118. They chose Devin Moore, the cornerback out of Florida. Not bad. Damon Claiborne, decent running back. Super small, though. 5'10", 195. Super small. Chandler Rivers came off. Oscar Delp. That's all right. Caleb Proctor. Oh, I should have looked. Came off 2 picks before us. 3 picks. Roman Hemby. He's also one of my dudes as well. But we already got Mike Washington, so it doesn't really matter that much. We have a trade offer, 154, 162. I don't know if I really want to do that right now. Let's see who's here. Wow. Do I get Raridon? Raridon doesn't look bad. I mean, I did say I could get whoever I wanted here. Royer's also here. Not awful. Harold Perkins is also there, but I don't know if I really want him. And then Kevin Coleman's there as well. Not that good of a RAS score. What happened? What did he do? Nah, pretty bad. Pretty bad speed, especially for how small he is. Ephesians Prysock is not bad as well. Pretty high RAS. I have a lot of guys here. I kind of want to get Raridon. I think he's gonna be. What did he test at? 6'6", 462. Not bad. Pretty decent here. 20. I don't know how 245 is poor weight. Arm length is just not awful. I mean, his height kind of adds to that as well. 32 and 3/4 is kind of like mid arm length, but because he's like 3 inches taller than everybody, that kind of adds. That adds, 3 inches to his arm length, basically, if he's going up for a 50-50 ball. As well as already having a decent vertical jump as well. I think we get Raridon here. And just stash him for a little bit. Yeah, I think we go Raridon. Okay, let's look what happened. No way. Billy Schroth goes right before. Wow, they really reached. Wow. Okay, what happened? Fusion's there. Couple guys that I liked went off the board, but I'm not too sad about that. I'm kind of sad about Billy Schroth though. That's a little tough. I really wish he was still there. I really wish he was here, but I guess he came off the board there. That's tough. Okay, well, not bad. I think we got to go with my guy though, Aiden Fisher. Not that best RAS score, but he's just. On tape, he's pretty solid. Like, he's just solid. And especially in the 5th round, like, you might as well just go after. Bryce Betcher there as well. Still pretty solid. I think Aiden Fisher is he's just a little bit better in my opinion. He's just not a little better. I think in terms of talent-wise, they're the same. I just prefer Aiden Fisher at this point. So I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to get Aiden Fisher here. I think that's my pick. Don't have to wait too much to get down there. Who came off the board? Mason Rieger, another guy, but we already got Danny. Pretty high on Mason Rieger. Michael Taft came off. Did we already get a safety? We still have not, right? Maybe this is where we get a safety instead and just get some type of guard later. Devin Marshall still on the board. Really like him. Really good comeback speed. Also, Taylon Green's there as well. Could be a solid kind of Taysom Hill replacement type quarterback just to have as a quarterback 3 or quarterback 4. Where are we picking after 164? 187. We don't have that much longer to wait. VJ Payne's here too as well. That's very tempting. I think I gotta do it. I think I have to do it. I have to get VJ Payne and then just see who falls to us at 187. Yeah, I have to do it. We don't have a safety yet. Okay. Jacoby Thomas is another solid safety prospect. He was pretty good. Pretty good this year. I guess Miami secondary, they were able really to move them around a lot. So I'm glad that we got Keontae Scott while also getting Malik Muhammad there in the 3rd round. So we're here at 187. Eli Heidenreich is there. Solid. He's just a weapon. Regis is there. I think he tested pretty decently if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, not awful. Just undersized, which makes sense. He's a little bit smaller of a defensive tackle. But that means he was able to test well. So, but he's still 317. He's just kind of short. I don't know how 317 up here, but 295 there. Does not make sense. Don't know where they're getting the numbers from. Jack Kelly's not awful. How'd he test? 972. That's pretty decent. But we already have Aiden Fisher. Lewis Moore. Yeah, we did not. Don't think he tested well. Unfortunately, Caden Curry came off the board at 174 to the Broncos. Oh man. Max Llewellyn came off the board. Taylon Green came off the board 2 picks before us. I think we may, just because of how many picks we have 4 more. We may have to just get a quarterback there in the 7th round or something, just to have and stash, and just to develop as a backup for a couple of years. So I think here at 187, let's just choose the best guy we can see. I think Heidenreich is, to be honest, the best guy there. Diego Pounds, sorry. Number 3 offensive tackle. Pretty decent. Not that athletic, but in terms of his size, he's pretty decent. Go Pack, NC State. He's from Raleigh, North Carolina. He could be there as well. Let's see what type of offensive lineman. Offensive tackles, not really anybody amazing. Travis Burke, that's right. I remember him. Travis Burke is there. I think I have to get him. Who was I also? There was someone else I was also looking at maybe. Eli Heidenreich. We already have a couple weapons though. We got Omar in the 1st round, but you already have another running back. We have another tight end. Man, do I think it's going to come down to, do I think we have enough offensive line depth? I think we do. Travis Burke though. I heard a lot of great things about him. Just super athletic, and he definitely could come in and just come in for after a couple years. Just continue to develop. I've heard Armaj Reed Adams is not awful. He's a guard at Texas A&M. Could definitely be someone later. I don't think we need another center right now. Logan Taylor. Never mind. I thought that was someone different. 921 though. That's not bad. Just not that fast. But athletically, he's not awful. But like, I don't need him to be running a 4.4. 85.9. Logan Taylor, 85.5. Basically identical, just a little more athletic. So here, how about this? I think we get Eli Heidenreich here. And then whichever offensive lineman falls to 209, that's what we're going to do. Because I don't mind any of those guys. Ideally, Travis Burke falls to 209. I don't think that's going to happen. We also could look at some of these other offensive linemen. Tristan Lay. I looked at him. I don't know if he's what I want right now, but whatever one of these tackles or guards falls, let's do that. Heidenreich here at 187, and whichever offensive lineman falls, we'll just take them. Travis Burke, unfortunate, went to 208, of course. Let's see what happened though. Any of our guys came off? I don't think so. Oh, Diego Pounds came off, unfortunate, but that's okay. Cade Klubnik was a potential offensive lineman we could have gotten. Okay, that's fine. I don't think we have anybody here. Let's look at the guards. Taylor and Armage is still, we can still get him later. I think we just get Taylor now. We still have 223. Is there anybody else we could look at instead? Jalen Husky's there. Andre Fuller's there. Tyreek Sapp's also there. I don't know what his athleticism. Oh, it's not great. I don't think his RAS score would be that great, in my opinion. Man, this is so much harder than I thought it was gonna be. I know this video is gonna be like an hour long. At this point, I've been recording for 120 minutes. Eric McAllister's down there too. I'm a really big Eric McAllister fan. A lot of people don't like him. A lot of people don't like TCU receivers in the first place, but I just think the production was just like 72 catches, 1,100, almost 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. I just don't know how you can complain about that, especially getting him this far down. We're at 209, 223, 245. Okay. Let's do it this way. Eric McAllister's at 218. Maybe he falls to us at 223. Maybe he doesn't. So let's do this. We'll get our guard. No, he's at 223. And no, we're going to get... Oh, man, this is hard. What other defensive tackles are here? Is there another defensive tackle here? Not really. Oh, is this the guy they're talking about? I believe. Rene Conga. I believe they talked to him. They met with him. 978 athletic score as well. Athletic. Not the worst size in the world. 6'3", 298. That's not awful. 30, basically almost 34-inch arms. 33 and a half. Hand size doesn't really matter that much, in my opinion. Sorry. Maybe we do this. Okay. Rene Conga is at 234. We have our guard there at 223. And we have McAllister here at... So maybe we get McAllister here. We reach on McAllister, which is fine with me. Who left? I saw a guard. Okay, 223. Our guard's still there, I believe. Logan Taylor, right here. Athletic. Okay, let's get our guard. And then just hope our defensive tackle falls. I don't think he fell. Oh, that's unfortunate. Didn't fall. Went to the Vikings at 234. Man, that is unfortunate. We're here at 245. This is our last pick. It is our last pick. Is there anybody else that I think is worth it? Awful athleticism. Not bad. Not awful. Still a little small, though. He's just long. Aaron Hall, I don't think is awful. Yeah, 9'6'7". Just not that great. Not that big, I mean. Did have some production there at Duke, though. Brandon Cleveland, it's my guy. I think he's a little better. I think you could he's a UDFA. You can just get him later. Could get someone now and someone later. Or get quarterbacks are here. Haynes King's still there. Pavia. Sorry, not going to get him. Aguilar's also there. Jalen Daniels. These are just, we could just get them later. Maybe we just get the best defensive tackle we can find. That may just be it. Who's the guy that had a 9? Oh, was it this guy that just had the... Yeah, I think it's just him. He's just long. But he's just going to fill out the room a little bit. Maybe let's just look at all. Who's also here? Reggie Virgil. I think I'm pretty sure he's like not that bad. 6'3", 190. We already got McAllister though. Don't know if we need that. Bishop Fitzgerald's still there. I'm not gonna go too far into this. You don't need to be splitting hairs here at pick 245. TJ Daniels is not awful, but not great athletically. I think we just get the defensive tackle. It's this guy, right? Yeah, James Thompson. That's it. Wow. Oh my gosh. That was it. So, that was our draft. We went through a lot. We made a lot of trades, which a lot of people are probably going to flame me for. But we got a lot of picks here. We turned what? We had 6 picks earlier. We turned that into 13. We turned that into 13 picks. And a lot of that is just we found guys we liked and we moved back, and we never really traded up, which is okay. But we just found guys we liked, we moved back, and we got the guys we liked to the position we wanted to while getting as much value as we could with other draft picks, which is good. So a lot of trading back, a lot of waiting for our guy to fall to us, and I think that's kind of how the Commanders need to draft. So let's go over what we did. At pick 19, Omar Cooper Jr. gave us an A-, not bad. At 63, wanted to get Brandon Cisse, but they decided to have him fall super, super early. So we had to get Keontae Scott, who's still a pretty solid defender on the outside, but is more of a nickel defender. He gave us an A. Mike Washington Jr. at pick 67, not awful. 81, we got Malik Muhammad. It thinks that we kind of reached on him a little bit, but I think that he's a solid cornerback to have, especially where we're at in our cornerback room. Danny Dennis Sutton, super solid edge rusher. I'm so happy we got him here at pick 87. Jake Slaughter at 100, B+. Eli Raridon at 134, tight end from Notre Dame, pretty solid there. Aiden Fisher, 151, thinks that we reached on him as well, which is fine. He's definitely someone that I wanted there at pick 151. VJ Payne at 164, they gave us an A-. It really just comes down to it. They're only going to give you a good grade if you had some guy fall to you, and you were able to get someone at, like, let's just say, for example, at pick 19, we got the guy that was at projected to be pick 10 or whatever, right? That's the only way they're going to give you a good grade. I'm just going to put that out there. But pick 187, Eli Heidenreich, absolute offensive weapon, can play anywhere, fullback, running back, wide receiver. Eric McAllister at pick 209, said that we reached on him a little bit, but that's fine. And Logan Taylor, pick 223, the guard out of Boston College. Pretty athletic, can definitely be someone that is a practice squad guy, but be a long-term backup. And then also another rotational defensive tackle, James Thompson Jr. Pretty solid athletic defensive tackle. It gave us a B-. So that is the mock draft. This was an absolute beast to complete, in my opinion. I appreciate you guys. If any of you guys are still here, I appreciate you guys watching till the very end. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go down below, drop a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications to know when I post next, and you guys will be notified whenever I post more Commanders content just like this. And let me know if you guys enjoyed this type of mock draft more than the other ones, whether it's a little more interactive. I'm kind of talking about my thought process of how the board fell, and if you guys want me to go back to the old way I did mock drafts, or just stick with this type of mock draft here. And then maybe next time we'll do a little bit more of sticking where we are, and rather than doing this many trades. This is definitely probably not that realistic, but some GMs do like to trade a lot, and they like to move around a lot, and that's just how it works out sometimes. So let me know down in the comments how this mock draft went, and whether you enjoyed this style of mock draft, and whether you like my mock draft or not. So thank you guys so much for watching. Drop a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications to know when I post next, and I appreciate you guys watching till the very end. Thank you so much. God bless, and hail to the Washington Commanders.